Welcome to World Coins Explorer, the channel where we uncover the hidden stories, history, and value of coins from all around the world. In today's video, we will take a closer look at the 1968 Australian 20-cent coin, a piece that not only served as everyday money but also carries a rich history and design significance. Many collectors often overlook common coins, but the 20-cent from 1968 is quite special because of its design, minting details, and place in Australia's decimal currency system. So, stay tuned till the end of this video as we explore the history, design, specifications, mintage, and current value of this fascinating coin. The 1968 Australian 20-cent coin is part of Australia's decimal currency system, which was officially introduced on February 14, 1966, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. The 20-cent coin was one of the key denominations introduced during this change. By 1968, Australia was only 2 years into the new system, so coins like this one were still new to the public and symbolized a modernized economy. The 20-cent coin quickly became one of the most widely used denominations in daily transactions. This coin represents a period when Australia was undergoing rapid economic and cultural changes, making it an interesting piece for both history lovers and numismatists. On the obverse side, the 1968 20-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, as Australia is part of the Commonwealth. The portrait used in 1968 was designed by Arnold Machin, one of the most famous coin designers of the 20th century. The Queen is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from Queen Mary. Around the portrait, you can see the inscription Elizabeth II Australia, 1968. This obverse design was used on Australian coins from 1966 up until the mid-1980s, making it an important part of the Queen's early coinage history in Australia. The reverse of the 1968 20-cent coin features the famous design of a platypus swimming through water, created by Stuart Devlin, who was the official goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The platypus is an iconic Australian animal, unique to the country and symbolic of its diverse wildlife. The design is very detailed, with water ripples flowing around the platypus, giving the coin a sense of motion and artistry. Above the animal is the bold number 20, indicating its value. The platypus design has been used continuously on 20-cent coins since decimalization, making it one of the longest-running and most recognizable designs in Australian currency. The 1968 Australian 20-cent coin was struck in copper-nickel, with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It has a weight of 11.31 grams, a diameter of 28.52 millimeters, and a thickness of about 2.5 millimeters, with a plain edge. In terms of mintage, a large number of these coins were produced in 1968 to support the growing demand for decimal currency. Specifically, over 52 million pieces were minted, which means the coin is relatively common in circulation. However, certain factors such as condition, errors, and proof versions can make specific examples more valuable to collectors. Because of the high mintage, most 1968 Australian 20-cent coins in circulated condition are worth only their face value, which is 20 cents. However, collectors often seek out coins in uncirculated or proof condition, where values can range from a few dollars up to $15 or more depending on grade. Coins with unique minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or wrong planchet errors, can fetch significantly higher prices, sometimes hundreds of dollars at auctions. So, while the 1968 coin is common, finding one in pristine condition or with an error could make it a small treasure for collectors. In conclusion, the 1968 Australian 20-cent coin is not just a piece of pocket change, but also a reflection of the nation's shift to decimal currency and its cultural pride in native wildlife. With its classic platypus design by Stuart Devlin and the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, this coin carries both artistic and historical significance. For most people, it may still only be worth 20 cents, but for collectors and history enthusiasts, it tells a much bigger story. Thank you for watching this episode on World Coins Explorer. If you enjoyed learning about this coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories from around the globe. The next video, we will explore the 2001 Australian 20-cent coin, a piece of currency that carries both historical and collectible importance. At first glance, this coin may seem like just an ordinary piece of change, but when we look closer, it has a fascinating story to tell. From its unique design to its connection with Australia's modern coinage history, this coin is an exciting subject for collectors. Whether you're a numismatist or just curious about old coins, today we will uncover everything you need to know about the 2001 20-cent coin. So, stay tuned until the end as we discuss its design, history, mintage, and collector's value. The 20-cent coin was first introduced in Australia in 1966, when the country transitioned to decimal currency, replacing the old shillings and pence system. By 2001, this denomination had already been in circulation for 35 years, making it a well-established part of everyday transactions. The 2001 issue came at an interesting time, as Australia was entering the new millennium, and coinage from this period holds a special place for collectors who focus on transitional and modern-era coins. Unlike special commemorative issues, the 2001 coin continued the traditional design, but its year of minting connects it to the early 21st century, giving it a unique historical context. On the obverse side of the 2001 20-cent coin, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which is standard across Australian currency. This portrait was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, and it had been introduced in 1999, replacing the earlier Raphael Maklauf portrait. The Rank Broadley portrait is notable for its more realistic and mature representation of the Queen, compared to the softer, idealized versions used in the past. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II and Australia 2001. This not only signifies the issuing authority but also marks the year of minting, giving the coin its identity. The reverse of the coin is perhaps its most iconic feature. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the official Royal Australian Mint's goldsmith and coin designer, the reverse depicts the platypus, one of Australia's most unique native animals. The platypus is shown swimming through rippling water, with elegant curved lines creating a sense of motion. The large numeral 20 is displayed prominently above the design. This artistic representation not only highlights Australian wildlife but also gives the coin an aesthetic appeal that has made it one of the most recognizable decimal coins in circulation. The platypus design has been consistently used since 1966, making it a symbol of stability in Australian coinage. The 2001 20-cent coin is made from a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a silvery appearance. It weighs 11.3 grams, has a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, and a thickness of about 2.5 millimeters. The edge is plain, unlike some other denominations which use reeded edges. These specifications have remained consistent since the coin's introduction in 1966, meaning the 2001 issue does not differ physically from other years. This consistency helps collectors easily compare coins across decades. However, the condition, mint year, and any potential errors are what set some examples apart in terms of rarity and value. The mintage of the 2001 20-cent coin was in the tens of millions, as it was intended for general circulation. This means that most of these coins are still common in Australia today. However, collectors still seek them in uncirculated or proof condition, which can significantly raise their value. In addition, 2001 was also the year Australia released several special commemorative coins, including Federation issues, which sometimes cause regular circulation coins of that year to be overlooked. As a result, a high-grade standard 2001 20-cent coin can be more desirable than expected. In terms of value, the 2001 20-cent coin in circulated condition usually holds only its face value of 20 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, it can fetch between $2 and $5 Australian dollars, depending on demand. Proof versions or coins struck with errors, such as off-center strikes or die cracks, can be worth much more, sometimes even reaching $50 or higher. Collectors often appreciate this coin not for its rarity, but for its role as part of a long-standing design series and its place in early 2000s Australian coinage history. For new collectors, the 2001 20-cent coin is an excellent starting point. As we have seen, the 2001 Australian 20-cent coin may not be extremely rare, but it carries significant cultural and historical value. From its beautiful platypus design by Stuart Devlin to the detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank Broadley, this coin reflects both tradition and continuity in Australia's monetary system. For coin collectors, it serves as a reminder of the country's rich numismatic heritage. So next video, we are going to explore the 2005 Australian 20-cent coin, one of the most interesting pieces of modern Australian coinage. At first glance, it may look like just another common coin from your pocket, but once we dig deeper, you will realize that this coin holds a lot of historical, cultural, and numismatic importance. From its iconic platypus design to its connection with Australia's long tradition of decimal currency, the 2005 20-cent coin is more than just change. It is part of Australia's story. So, stay tuned as we uncover its history, design, specifications, and collector's value. The 20-cent coin was first introduced in Australia in 1966, when the country adopted the decimal system and moved away from pounds, shillings, and pence. By the year 2005, the 20-cent coin had already been circulating for almost 40 years, making it a trusted and well-established part of daily transactions. The year 2005 itself was significant, as Australia was celebrating the centenary of its federation, and many special coins were released in that year. While the regular 20-cent coin continued with its traditional design, collectors often consider the 2005 issues as part of a transitional period when modern commemorative coins began to take center stage in Australia's coinage history. On the obverse side of the 2005 20-cent coin, you will find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This portrait was created by Ian Rank-Broadley in 1998 and began appearing on Australian coins from 1999 onwards. His design was more realistic compared to earlier portraits, showing the Queen with greater detail and maturity. Around the portrait, the inscriptions read Elizabeth II and Australia 2005. This design choice gives the coin its royal authority and helps collectors instantly recognize the year of issue. The Rank-Broadley portrait is still appreciated today for its clarity and sharpness, making it a key feature of this coin. The reverse side of the coin is one of the most iconic in Australian numismatics. Designed by the famous goldsmith and coin designer Stuart Devlin, the reverse features the platypus, one of Australia's most unique and fascinating native animals. The platypus is shown swimming gracefully through rippling water, and the wavy lines around it create a sense of movement and flow. Above the animal is the large numeral 20, representing its value. The platypus design has been in use since the very first decimal issue in 1966, and its longevity shows how strongly it resonates with the Australian people. It is not only a design but also a symbol of the nation's identity and natural heritage. The 2005 Australian 20-cent coin is struck in copper nickel, giving it a silver-like color. It weighs 11.3 grams, has a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, and a thickness of about 2.5 millimeters. Its edge is plain, unlike the reeded edges of other denominations like the 10-cent or 50-cent coins. These specifications have remained consistent since 1966, allowing the coin to maintain its standard look and feel over decades. For collectors, this consistency is helpful because it allows easy comparisons across years, while differences in minting, errors, and condition make individual coins more collectible. The 2005 20-cent coin was produced in large numbers for general circulation, which means that it is not considered rare in everyday condition. However, 2005 was also a year of several commemorative releases, which sometimes makes the regular 20-cent coin of that year overlooked by casual collectors. Despite being common in circulation, uncirculated and proof versions of this coin are far more desirable. These coins were struck with extra care by the Royal Australian Mint, and they often come in presentation sets. Collectors who specialize in year sets or proof coins often look for the 2005 issue to complete their collections in terms of value. The 2005 Australian 20-cent coin in circulated condition is worth its face value of 20 cents. However, when found in uncirculated or proof condition, it can fetch between $2 and $5 Australian dollars in the collector's market. Special errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, or die cracks can make the coin much more valuable, sometimes going up to $50 or even higher depending on rarity. What makes the 2005 coin collectible is not just its design but also its connection to a year filled with commemorative issues, making it stand out for those who want a complete series of Australian decimal coins. In conclusion, the 2005 Australian 20-cent coin is a perfect example of how even ordinary circulation coins can hold historical and cultural importance. From its beautifully designed platypus reverse by Stuart Devlin to the detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank-Broadley, this coin captures both tradition and modernity in Australian numismatics. While common in everyday use, its value grows in uncirculated and proof condition, making it a worthy addition to any collection. The last video, we are going to dive into the story of the 2006 Australian 20-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like just another ordinary coin from your pocket, but in reality, it carries a lot of hidden history, design beauty, and collecting interest. Australian decimal coins have always been a favorite among collectors worldwide, and the 20-cent coin is one of the most iconic pieces in the series. In this video, we will explore the history, design, technical details, mintage, and collector's value of the 2006 20-cent coin. So, stay tuned till the end because you might discover that the coins in your change are worth more than you think. The 20-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, when Australia shifted from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the decimal currency system. By 2006, the coin had already been in circulation for 40 years, making it a trusted part of everyday transactions. That year, Australia was also in the middle of producing some of the most beautiful commemorative coins, while still continuing its regular coinage for circulation. The 2006 issue of the 20-cent coin carried on the traditional design but represents a period where Australian coins were gaining more popularity among global collectors due to their unique wildlife designs and consistency in quality. The obverse of the 2006 20-cent coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the British sculptor Ian Rank-Broadley. This portrait was first introduced in 1999 and shows the Queen with a more realistic, mature look compared to previous designs. Surrounding her image, you can see the inscriptions Elizabeth II, Australia, and the year 2006. This design is significant because it was used across all denominations in Australia during this period, giving the coins a unified and recognizable identity. The detail in Rank-Broadley's design makes the coin stand out even in circulated condition, which is why collectors appreciate coins from this era. On the reverse, the 2006 20-cent coin displays one of the most famous designs in Australian numismatics, the platypus. This artwork was created by Stuart Devlin, who designed many of Australia's decimal coins. The platypus is shown swimming gracefully, surrounded by rippling water lines, which give the coin a sense of movement and natural beauty. The large numeral 20 is positioned above the animal, clearly marking its denomination. What makes this design so special is that it has been used since 1966 without major changes, proving how timeless and loved it is among Australians. The platypus, being one of the most unique mammals in the world, perfectly represents the rich wildlife of the country. The 2006 Australian 20-cent coin was struck in copper nickel, giving it a bright silver appearance. It weighs 11.3 grams, has a diameter of 28.65 millimeters, and a thickness of around 2.5 millimeters. The edge of the coin is plain, which helps to distinguish it from other denominations like the reeded 10-cent coin. These specifications have been consistent since the very beginning in 1966, making it easy to recognize and use in everyday life. For collectors, coins that follow the same specifications across decades allow for comparisons of condition, mint errors, and striking quality. In 2006, the Royal Australian Mint produced a large number of 20-cent coins for circulation, meaning that the coin is not rare in regular, used condition. However, what makes it interesting is the availability of proof and uncirculated versions released in collector sets. These specially struck coins were made with extra care, sharper detail, and higher quality finish. Many collectors search for the 2006 issue in mint condition to add to their decimal year sets. Additionally, error coins from this year, such as off-center strikes or double strikes, can sometimes appear and fetch much higher values in the market. In terms of value, a regular circulated 2006 20-cent coin is worth only its face value of 20 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, it can be worth around $2 to $5 Australian dollars, while proof versions can sell for $10 to $20 Australian dollars depending on condition and demand. Rare minting errors are the real treasures, as they can sometimes be sold for $50 or more if verified by experts. Collectors who enjoy completing year sets always look for coins like this to fill the gaps in their Australian decimal coin collections. In conclusion, the 2006 Australian 20-cent coin is not just an everyday coin but a piece of Australia's rich coinage tradition. With the timeless platypus designed by Stuart Devlin, the detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Ian Rank-Broadley, and its solid place in Australia's decimal history, this coin remains important for both casual and serious collectors. While it may be common in circulation, in uncirculated and proof condition it becomes much more valuable and collectible. Here on World Coins Explorer, we believe that every coin has a story, and the 2006 20-cent coin tells a story of tradition, wildlife,